I have never been a risk-taker. Breaking the law is completely out of my comfort zone, but curiosity is a dangerous thing. For months during an hour-long drive, I would pass a massive, towering structure in the distance, isolated amidst endless fields. It looked like a classic Gothic nightmare, boasting high, arched roofs, tiny barred windows, and a massive concrete cross fixed to its highest peak. Locals said it was an old abandoned prison. My friend Chloe was just as fascinated as I was, so she made a reckless suggestion. Let's just drive out there and explore it. Against my better judgment, I agreed, thinking that at 1 a.m., any potential security would be long gone. Chloe parked on the shoulder of the desolate road to avoid cameras, and we walked 10 minutes through the pitch black. The heavy, rotting front door was unlocked. Inside, the overwhelming stench of dust and decaying wood hit our faces. Our flashlights illuminated thick clouds of dust. Ahead stood a heavy iron gate with bars left wide open. It was undeniably an abandoned prison. As we walked deeper, the structural decay became terrifying. Huge chunks of concrete littered the floor. Feeling intense anxiety, I told Chloe we needed to turn back. She laughed, calling me a nervous wreck, but promised we'd leave soon. Less than 3 minutes later, a deafening crash echoed through the hollow corridors. We froze in pure panic. Chloe tried to rationalize it as a natural collapse, but the look on my face told her it was time to go. We immediately retraced our steps, but as we reached the exit of the massive cell block, Chloe gasped. Standing at the far end of the dark corridor, roughly 20 feet away, was a silhouette of a man. In an abandoned prison at 2 a.m., seeing another soul is a psychological horror you can't describe. The figure slowly raised his hands and spoke in an incredibly calm, smooth voice. He said his name was Victor and claimed he meant no harm. Chloe threatened to pepper spray him, but Victor smoothly explained he was the hired security guard, tasked with detaining trespassers until the police arrived. He spoke without a single stutter, explaining that frequent break-ins forced them to monitor the perimeter. I began to relax, thanking him when he offered to escort us out with just a warning, laughing warmly to put us at ease. But Chloe's instincts were sharper. She asked him to step aside so we could exit through the front door. Victor's demeanor subtly shifted. He claimed that the loud crash we heard earlier was the main ceiling collapsing, blocking our entry path entirely. He insisted on leading us through a safer, alternative back route. As he walked past us, Chloe whispered that his outfit was completely wrong for security. He was wearing clean jeans, white sneakers, a black hoodie, and an unbuttoned flannel shirt. When pressed, Victor smoothly laughed it off, claiming he could wear whatever he wanted for a boring night shift. He led us deeper in the opposite direction of the exit. Whenever we questioned him, his smooth voice would repeat, "Don't worry, we're almost there." Finally, we entered a suffocatingly narrow concrete hallway that forced us into a single-file line. At the dead end was a heavy door opening into a pitch-black staircase, leading straight down into a subterranean basement. It was so dark that our flashlights couldn't find the bottom. Instead of walking down first, Victor stepped to the side of the doorframe, looked at us, and said, "After you." Chloe stopped dead in her tracks, asking why we needed to go into a basement to exit. Victor chuckled dismissively, calling her silly. Chloe firmly refused to take another step. Trying to diffuse the tension, I asked if he could lead the way instead. He hesitated, then agreed, taking 2 steps down. But then, he abruptly stopped, claiming he needed to ensure the top door locked securely behind us. Before we could react, he stepped back up. Gently but firmly wrapped his hand around my bare arm and tried to violently pull me down the stairs first. Chloe screamed, violently throwing her body weight against him. Because she had the higher ground on the landing, the force of her push made Victor lose his footing and stumble backward down the dark stairs. "Run!" she shrieked. We turned and bolted through the narrow hallway in pure adrenaline-fueled terror. We sprinted blindly through the cell blocks and ruined rooms. My heart was pounding in my throat. I couldn't hear footsteps, but I felt like his presence was right on top of me, his cold grip still lingering on my skin. We burst through the front doors, sprinted back to the car, and tore down the highway, constantly checking our mirrors. A week later, consumed by anxiety, I called the local police department. I confessed to trespassing, just to report the dangerous security guard who tried to trap us in the basement. The responding officer went completely silent. He told me that the old prison had been abandoned for decades, had absolutely no budget for security guards, and wasn't monitored by a single camera or patrol. He told me that whoever we encountered in that dark prison was a highly dangerous predator, and that my friend and I were incredibly lucky to be alive. To this day, I spiral out of control if I think about it too much. He was too clean-cut, too well-spoken to be a random vagrant. He was hunting, and if it weren't for Chloe's quick reflexes, we would have vanished down those black stairs, becoming just another unexplained statistic in the dark fields.